Hello, all you lovely souls who revel in embracing life just as I do. This is Neerja Malik, and you are welcome into my world of I Embrace. And what do we intend to do here? We delve into the many layers and shades of my life, exploring resilience, positivity, strength, and the inherent fun and laughter that lies deep within each of us. Interludes from my own exciting and adventurous journey, my personal battles and victories that have brought forth innumerable lessons in my life. It is these learnings that I place on a golden platter with utmost humility for your personal consumption. My darling listeners, I will not be able to thank you enough because as I speak and as I share my innermost feelings with you, I relive with immense love and gratitude all that my parents did for us, my sister and I. And I am grateful to you, my darling listeners, for giving me this opportunity to share my innermost being, to relive things, to consolidate what we went through, and in sharing, to heal. One always feels that one has healed the maximum, but that maximum doesn't come, right? That maximum is the maximum of your life. There's certain voids, there's certain feelings that will go with you to your grave. But yes, when you heal, the sadness goes, the sorrow goes, the suffering goes, and what remains is just beautiful memories, beautiful love shared, the nourishment, the nurturing that your parents did for you. And remembering that with gratitude to them is a perpetual thing. I don't think I can ever feel lesser gratitude for the grace with which they brought us up, for how they looked after us, for the sacrifices they made for us. They all come back, flooding my whole being with the knowledge that I and my sister were so loved, embraced in such warmth, given such strength, and given such purpose to live and to be ourselves and to contribute towards the joy that the planet has given us. Whether it is the elements, whether it is anything and everything. Yes, we are part of the elements. And our parents had much to do with earth. They fed us with water. We drank it. We are 70% or more of water. We were cleansed and bathed, anointed in it. And the air that we breathe till our dying day. And what separates life from death? It is the last breath. Yes, we come in alone. We go alone. And what is with us throughout is our breath. And it is thanks to our parents' union that we were born and we live, and with utmost gratitude to them and to God, we will gratefully and gracefully die. So while I'm talking with you and sharing all this, we always come back to water, don't we? And I remembered the immense satisfaction that the 8 of us got when we were able to immerse her ashes exactly where our father's ashes were. I remember that in the last episode I said, "Cheers, Mapa," holding my goblet of wine high in the sky and literally worshipping them and bowing my head to them. And it just reminds me that when the boat had stopped, the motor sound was off. It was the gentle rocking of the waves, and there was stillness all around, except for that lulling movement. In that silence, we gently shed our tears, saying fond farewell, each of us, and my cousin Geeta sang Shivoham, Shivoham. It anchored us to that moment that was made unforgettable by all the feelings that we went through. Audio, visual. Nothing could be more alive as that moment that can play in our minds, literally psychedelically, added to which are our thoughts, her words, her singing, and all of creation as if surrounding us in that frozen time, unforgettable forever. Once all that was done, and there was an air of peace and harmony that descended on all of us, and we looked at each other with that deep knowledge, that understanding of a deeply shared moment, a momentous moment in our lives. We smiled at each other, and then we gesticulated to the boatmen to take us back to the jetty that I spoke about. Now, this is the strange thing, that sometimes we just flow into moments or activity that is deeply entrenched in all of us. Papa passed away in 2012, 13th of December. And after that, it became a kind of ritual that any time he was remembered, which was frequently, we would all go, my mother, my sister, my brother-in-law and I, to the United Services Club Sea Pool, look out at the waves, have a breakfast there, and remember him with immense joy and happiness. And suddenly, automatically, the 8 of us found ourselves at that spot of remembering and celebrating his life. And here we were, remembering and celebrating her life. 8 of us sat around a table, the gentle breeze caressing us as if with the feeling of our mother being around, the waves reminding us of our Father, the clouds bearing, and there we were, feeling the waves and the breeze, seeing the clouds and the sun, and it was as if the entire kainat, all of creation was there, sharing not only the deep sadness, but also the deep joy of having had them in our lives all these years, for relishing their thoughts, relishing the food they loved. We ate, drank, and made merry, and each of us spoke of the different occasions that we remembered, the highlights of our life with them. My aunt, my uncle, my sister, my husband, her husband, my cousins who had come from Delhi. We all spoke about that and what they meant to us. And yes, we were smiling, and at the same time, tears flowed out. We felt a cool breeze surrounding us, and we felt that the healing had begun. So this is how we remember people who have made such a deep impact on us. Always, we are their flesh, we are their blood, and that is what we discussed at that point. That they are not gone. All our loved ones have not gone. We remembered our ancestors, those who had left us, my husband's parents, my brother-in-law's parents, my cousin Geeta's parents, and recently, my cousin Sonu's mother. We remembered them all with immense gratitude and immense love. That love can never be taken away because each of us had very individualistic memories of each of them and our deepest link and connection to all their souls. And I read that poem once again. Death is nothing at all. And we all were silent, taking in the deep meaning of those simple words that flowed so beautifully in that poem, making us all feel the deep, peaceful harmony. And yes, our spirits were aligned with each other, aligned with nature, and one with our thoughts, our feelings, our emotions, and our God. So having fulfilled each and every aspect of our being nourished and nurtured by all of creation, and the food and the drink, and the love and the warmth that linked us together, we came home. And then suddenly we got into action because we decided that we were the lucky ones. Our parents were completely impartial to any and every religion, and they both went with equal fervor towards Havans, the Arya Samaji way, and towards Kirtans and Bhajans from the Gurdwara. So we had decided that on the fourth day, the Chautha, we had an hour of splendid words sung in worship to the one above. And it was really beautiful. A lot of people came. And I think the brilliant thing that occurred to me was to ask my nephew Angad to set up an online link For those all over the world, it was a shock notice. I thought of it the previous night, but on the 13th of February, strangely, the day that I was diagnosed, exactly 26 years back, isn't it strange how things work out? So on the 13th of February, we had a kirtan at home and we had a langar and everyone stayed back to what we call Chako Prasad, or to partake in the feast of the Lord. So that was beautiful. My cousins had come, especially from Indore also. And my friend Seerath left Chennai early morning to be with us on that day so that she could go back that night, having been there with us during the Kirtan. But what do they say? Man proposes, God disposes. I was with her on WhatsApp. She landed around 9, giving enough time to reach home by 11:30. And then she said that, you know what? Something's fishy. The plane has been surrounded by paramilitary forces. There are people with guns all around. And slowly and steadily the story came out. I learned that the plane had been taken to a secluded spot of the airport. And then I learned that all their luggage had been taken out. Their handbags were collected. Yes, each was left with a cell phone, which is how I knew what was happening. And for hours, they were kept without food or drink in a very secluded spot of that airport. It came to pass that someone had written in the bathroom of the airplane that when that plane lands in Bombay, this person is going to blow up the plane. So that was a security hazard. They had to look into it deeply. And by the time it all got over, their luggage was checked, their handbags were checked, and they were let loose. My brother-in-law actually mentioned that maybe she needs to just come out of departure and get into the arrival and go back. Thankfully, there was time. She came home. The ambience of the Kirtan, the holy words from the Shabds of the Guru Granth Sahib were still resounding in the atmosphere. And you could feel the vibrations of the beauty of the songs, the meanings, and the oneness with the one above. She came, she had her lunch, we spoke, we expressed ourselves, we told her what we'd gone through. And finally that evening, she left to return to Chennai. So that was my friend Seerath, who calls me Vadde Benji. I call her Chote Benji. And our kids, I don't know how, decided a long time back to call us Masi. Yes, certain relationships are automatically made out of nothingness. But don't they say that souls of the same family get together in different lifetimes? And her daughter, Shamil, was a classmate of Shivani and Siddharth. And people never thought that I had twins. They would think that I had triplets because she was always around. Yes. And she also called my mother Nani. They were very fond of my mother, as my kids were very fond of Sirat's mother. It is strange, and yet not so strange, that sometimes relationships that you are not born into but grow into are sometimes deeper than the ones you are born into. This is a family that we cherish, and I know for a fact that they cherish us, because the love and affection that my mom gave all my friends, and all my friends gave her, and my father. I remember that one of my friends, Prabha, had lost her father, and my parents came to Chennai. And she came over to meet them, and she just wept. It was as if she felt the spirit of her father in mine. Another friend of mine came home and met them, and she did her Shashtang Namaskar, lay down flat on the floor, touching their feet. This was the impact my parents had on all my friends. I'm back in Chennai after a month and a half with my mother and my sister and my brother and my families. Mandeep was there. My in-laws are all in Bombay. And I'm getting calls. People are coming over to visit me and just sharing the impact that the parents had on them. They've called my mother majestic, royal, with a halo, smiling, loving, twinkling eyes. What beautiful things I hear. And isn't this what it's all about? Sharing joys and sorrows with those who matter, with those my parents mattered to, and life, in whatever it serves us, is oh so beautiful. My cousins went back, my nieces and nephews came, participated, showed their love and affection, did what they could, and went back. And finally, the Pandit said that the room that she had passed away in should have a havan or a homam, and it's called Shuddhi Havan. Perhaps from the word, I guess it meant purify or cleanse. So we had that on the 17th of February. My cousin brother in Pune was unwell. He could not make it. And he wept like a child because my mother had made an impact on everyone. So my sister and I decided to take a day trip to Pune just to meet him, to tell him about all that we had gone through, and to be with him and give him strength and solace. On the 17th, the Havan went off beautifully. All the girls and the driver, we were all there while we remembered her. So isn't it beautiful that all these occasions, whether they're kirtans or havans, actually help us in sharing our tears, help us in healing, help us in feeling lighter. And what is so beautiful is that these activities just flowed seamlessly into one another, and they just cropped up at will, as did my friend Sujani's trip from Coimbatore to Bombay. And that was another strange thing. She called me up and she said, "May I come with mithai?" Now for me, it doesn't matter. The main thing is that someone wants to come. Doesn't ask me, should I come or should I not? Just informs me that I am coming. And can I bring mithai? And I said, of course you can. And later on I got to know that her son actually said to her, how can you go to that house with mithai, with sweetmeats? And let me share with you her thought. On the 10th day, according to the Vedas, the older daughter of the house comes to her mother's house with mithai, because on the 10th day is when the soul starts departing. 10th, 11th, 12th, different people have different ideas. 13th. Till then, the soul is very worried about all the ones it loved, trying to go from one to the other to pacify them and say, don't worry about me, dear child. I am well. I am at peace. And by the 10th day, slowly and steadily, the attachment turns into a gentle detachment for the soul who starts getting ready to meet and be one with the one above. Now, when she landed and we had put garlands on both Mama and Papa's photographs, which were now together, and made a little shrine with flowers, with candle stands. She came and she placed the box of mithai. And my sister and I were shocked, because this was Imrati or Amriti, which is actually my mother's favorite sweetmeat. Out of all the mithai, she loved it. But Sujani didn't know that, and none of us told her that. She just got it made. According to her, Mom gave her the idea of what she should make. So you see, there's one person, but each of us has a different concept or different relationship, a different link with that one person. Each one of my friends had different feelings, but they were oh so true, oh so beautiful. And Sujani felt that my mother had given her that idea that this is what I love, because out of all the sweetmeats that she could have got made, she unknowingly, by default, coincidence, got that made that was nearest my mother's heart. And yes, my mother loved her sweet. It was as if all of us have a second stomach. One is for the food, and one is definitely for the sweet that follows. So this is what happened. These are the little miracles that have been continuously cropping up. People calling us up and saying that they saw her or they felt her presence at different points, at different moments of their life. And definitely now that they all remembered her with such deep respect and adoration. that words are not enough to be able to explain the impact that she had on millions. Her love, impartial love, was there for everyone. Her joy, her smiles, her twinkling eyes, they will never be forgotten. And she will always be alive in us and our memories. What does one say? Sometimes it feels as if this last month and a half has happened years back, and I'm slowly and steadily remembering things in my mind as they were then. At the same time, sometimes I feel that all this happened as soon as yesterday, and I haven't yet processed what has gone by. So at this moment, perhaps we do go through it as human beings in a limbo, or we are living simultaneously through different realms, one of which feels that it took place a long time ago, and one of it feels as if we're still going through it, and one feels as if it was a long time back. I think whatever it is, souls once connected without realization come back as soul families, not necessarily a brother, a sister, a father, a lover, a husband, a wife, spouse, children. It could be friends, it could be teachers, it could be people who work with you, it could be the security people who show more concern towards your family and feel much more as you do for them. Yes, if I look back in time, everyone felt for my mother, my cook, my maid who has seen her come here and live with us, remembers her, remembers the things that she has said to her and brings them up. That's what she's been doing over the last some days that I've returned. And the strange thing is, when she speaks of her, she has tears in her eyes. The last time we went to Kunur together was in August of 21. But even the people there feel that she has been coming every year, or they feel that she hasn't come for a long time. This is human nature, and these are possibly the defenses we have to shelter us, secure us, insulate us from whatever is deep within our minds. So, my darlings, we come to an end of another episode with feelings of gratitude that you are there, lending me your ears, there, sharing things. And I hope that what I have shared with you will help you overcome, conquer, go through with grace and gratitude all the lives that have meant something to you and may leave us at some point of time, and how we can revel in their memories and let go lovingly, because that is what they need, and that is what we will need when our time to bid adieu to the world will come. So till then, God bless, and Till we meet again, God speed. I Embrace isn't just about my journey of conquering cancer. It's about embracing life in all its entanglement and beauty. Remember, in this journey of life, you are never alone. And I need to thank you for becoming a part of this inspiring journey. Thank you for joining me today on I Embrace and my heartfelt wishes. Stay resilient, stay positive, and most importantly, keep embracing life in all its glory.